now like to go for trading session. I think first briefing to you what has happened till now in trading. I will not show some slides right now. 2 minutes I'll explain you what has happened, training what we had already in the first session. Then we will see what we are going to learn this session. So first session, what we learned, is my view is there on the screen or only another sub view is there? Because if you want to see, I can show my action in the hand. Okay, it's okay. And now, first we learned about what is electron, what is electricity. Then we learned what is the current and what is the voltage, which means what is ampere when we compare it exactly with rate of flow, liters per minute. And we compare also pressure with voltage. And we come to the energy, what we done is the watt or joules, what we call. Other side, this side is a watt, which is a multiplication of voltage and ampere. Then we came to the something a little bit about how three-phase works. Three-phase has got 440 volts, that much we learned. We learned a little bit about, we have to worry about power factor. What is a power factor? That's a loss that happens in when you connect devices like motors and all. And that's an important factor, we have to go and read about it. Then we came to basic electronics. We studied about 3 of the basic components. A resistor, which is like a pipe, hydraulic pipe. Then we talked about an inductor, where the resistance varies. You can vary the resistance dynamically. That happens because of the change in frequency of the water flow in the pipe, or the change in frequency of the current flow in a inductor. Then we thought about capacitor, which can store temporary storage of electrons where you want to give it path. Then we learned about diode, which is like unidirectional valve. It will conduct in one direction. Then we talked about a diode, which is something like a Zener diode, which is about, like, let us say, a pressure relief valve. So it will not conduct unless the pressure is more. So that is the very important component which change the whole electronics, creating power supplies, everything you can do with the Zener diode. Then we come to the third one, a device that conducts in one direction. It will not, beginning it will not conduct, but if you give a trigger, let's say like a latch, pressure latched valve. So when I press when I give a trigger to that, it will start flowing, and the pressure of the water which is flowing, which will hold the latch also. So how to remove it? You have to remove the water completely. The same way they are called, those things are tracks which comes in both directions when they flow, where you control your AC motors, everything. Then slightly we talked about how to control with the, come to transistors. Transistors are valves, we studied, and which amplifies actually, and they are non-linear. So then we came to linear, which are operational amplifiers. So they are devices where you can amplify. These are like all amplifiers, opening the valves, opening the gates, closing gates. This is the basic thing we learned. That was concluded actually as a basic electronics, what we need. There is a very large, huge subject. What I have given is just name of the parts, components which are used. It is the people who want to get trained on each one in the class, you must understand this particular topic. What I told you in short will be probably about 10 lectures in a college will be conducted. And I think we are all already BEs or MEs, so we can go and study which is required. So we will try again, attempt to go for the basic understanding of all the components used. So today we take up as digital electronics. What are the digital electronics? So we'll talk about what is it, like analog we saw already. Analog we saw, like I told you, diodes, and then we saw about transistors, we saw operational amplifiers to say, and in between a transistor and a MOSFET, they're very close. That's all we learned. Now we come back to see digital, what is there. So that will take about probably 10-15 minutes. I would request my colleague Mukund Iyer to take up the digital electronics. Can you put the slides for him, please?
Thank you, Dr. Syed. I presume you all can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, after the brief introduction given by Dr. Syed about the basic electronics, the analog systems, and things like that, today we move into digital electronics, isolation, signal isolation, that is, and signal conditioning circuits. Now, the first question that comes to anybody's mind, why should we learn digital electronics? Well, today, whatever we use, let's say a laptop, a mobile, a tablet, or any computational object, they are all built on digital electronics alone. Now, whatever logic systems are developed, they are all from the digital electronics. We don't need an analog system to that extent for computational purposes because we have the power of the laptop, the PC to give us the solutions. So, in order to have a better understanding of automation and other things, we should know digital electronics as they are the building blocks. Now, in digital electronics, what are the different things we should know about so that we get a better understanding? Well, they are what we call it as logic gates, flip-flops, counters, decoders, isolation amplifiers, optoelectronic systems, and things like that. Well. It all appears to be just a jargon as far as a lot of people are concerned. So we will go into details of whatever details we can go into. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So here we are. Digital circuits and logic symbols. Well, as you see, we've got about 6 symbols over here, which we call as logic gates. And what are they actually? Okay, if I say the first one, which is an AND gate, let's not get confused with the symbol or the truth table. Let us look at the AND gate as just a series circuit element. Now, what are the series circuit elements? Let's say we have a water line where the water is flowing and we have an inlet and an outlet. And I connect 2 valves in series, one after the other. Now, it's very simple for me to get the output of water. I have to open both the valves. Opening any one of them is not going to work. Let me call the first valve as A and the second valve as B. So, what is a simple English language when we speak? We say A and B should be open. Yes. Now, this, when I said A and B, this is that AND. So, it's very clear. Now, when you see the truth table, a 0 value on A and B means it is off. A 1 value means it's on. So, in the first 3 conditions, when both are off or any one of them is on, there is no output. When both of them are on, there is an output. So, basically, as I said, AND works out to be a series circuit logic. Coming to the next one, we have the OR gate. What we got? Well, OR gate. Now, what could that be? Well, it's very simple. We have the same water line, but now we have 2 parallel valves connected to one outlet. Now it's very clear that any one of them, A or B, I will have the output, or I can start A and B also I can start. Both of them on, I get the output. Any one of them is on, I get the output. So this is basically the OR gate. Now comes the other gate, which is, we call it as XOR or exclusive OR. Well, to understand this, we had to have just go back to our staircase lighting systems where we have 2 switches. When I want to go up the staircase, I just flip the switch at the bottom. I go on top, I flip the switch which is there at the top level, and the light goes on. So one way the light comes on, the other way it goes on. So this staircase system, that is, if you see the truth table over here, when both are not there, A and B are off, output is off. When both A and B are on, again the output is off. Any one of them is on or off, then you have the output. So basically, the whole building block in digital system is only AND, OR, and NOR. Well, but we have 6 over here. Now, what does the 6 mean? If you really see, and NAND, they are just an output has been inverted. That is, I've just replaced it by a negation over there. Similarly for OR and NOR, and similarly for XOR and XNOR. So basically, what we have is basic 3 gates and OR and exclusive OR, which when the output is not it, we call it as inverted. We have the NAND, NOR, and XOR. So that's how we come to the basic building blocks of the logic symbols and the logic gates. Now, we'll go further. Can we have the next slide, please? So, yeah, here we see some of the interesting symbols. They have all been jumbled up over here. Well, just to confuse you, for nothing else. Well, we learned about the NAND, NOR, and other things. So when we add them or we mix them with certain combinations, we get different circuits like flip-flop. What we have on top of the flip-flop, and then at the bottom we have a latch circuit. So now you see that the basic gates are becoming the building blocks of constructing a simple flip-flops and T-latch. Flip-flop, well, technically speaking, there are 2 inputs. I trigger one side, it comes on. I trigger the other side, it goes on. So we build systems with all the different types of gates. Now let's go to the next slide, please.
Wait a second. Just
yeah, sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah, tell me.
Come back. Yeah, the flip-flop is something like first it is on. The next time when you say you press a button, it becomes off. Next time when you press, it becomes on. So it's a flip-flop based on its output will change based on the input comes. And latch is actually there's a lot of information is being talked. For example, now I tell to Dr. Indramani something, name I say and tell something, Mukunda here say something. So they will capture, because I am talking, they will capture whenever the name is told. So they will latch the information, which is latches are very good for multiplexing. I have got 4 displays. I want display temperature here. I want display humidity here. I will connect all of them with the wires. I'll send one data, but one humidity will capture it, another temperature will have it. Please continue, Mukunda.
Yeah, so we'll go to the next slide. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. Now here, if you see digital circuit latch application, as Dr. Sir just pointed out about the latch function. Now here it is basically a latch, but this is a dedicated IC manufactured by a lot of guys all over the world, semiconductor manufacturers. This is what we call it as a serial to parallel decoder and latch. So it takes in the clock and the different outputs will be latch. So it basically multiple latches. There are about 8 D-type latches inside, but interconnected in such a manner that we can interconnect the IC itself one after the other. So we can go on adding. Here we are shown only 2 stages of the IC. We can add a couple of them more and we can have n numbers of them. Okay. So this is one of the application wherein the digital logic blocks gates are used to make a dedicated chip to make it function the way we want. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. Yeah. Here it's another set of ICs which are again dedicated. Here it is a serial to 7-segment. Now it's very interesting. This 7-segment displays, whatever we see over here, we're very interesting. They indicate all the numbers, like for example, from 0 to 99 can be indicated. Now, these particular semiconductors, whatever were there manufactured, they were specifically done in order to decode it for the 7-segment. But the building block again works out to be the same type of D latches and flip-flop, AND gate, NOR gate, and OR gate. So basically what, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay. The question is, we are talking about counters here. One of the application of digital circuits. You see, we saw in the last 2 slides, we saw OR gates. which are controlling actually functionality of different inputs and to get an output. Then we came to latch. Okay, latch is, there are different types of latches are there to latch the information which is coming to me. I will keep it till the next information comes. So my state is fixed. I keep it, that particular information with me. Suppose I say there are 10 valves are there. I say one valve to be on. The first valve will be on till next time I send the command on the same line. It's like a voice you are hearing, its own wire. Here we are talking about next level. We are coming here as a counters. There are some ICs available where you give a pulse, it goes on counting. You need not have a microcontroller for this. So this is a counter IC. Example here given with 2 of the 7 are going to display a counter. So another component you have in digital circuit is a counter. Next slide, please. So now you have another component here is multiplexer. Left side, you can see it's multiplexer. Yeah, mouse if you can move through, it will be very good. Host Setu, multiplexer written there. Okay, what is the use of this multiplexer? You have got, let us say, 10 temperature sensors. Okay, but temperature is very slow process in agriculture. You have got only one display. Okay, and or you want to send only one. So you'll scan first one, second one, afterwards third one. So multiple can be inputs can be given, and it will select only one output. This is one of the components. The multiplexing, you have the component. Like even the speakers, when you have audio systems also, you have multiplexers. They're the same purpose it does it. For example, there are multiple people speak. All the microphones you put there, only one output it will go there. That is a multiplexer. Then you have the opposite of the multiplexer, the demultiplexer. It's also another stuff where you have one input, it will go to different places output. Depending on, you have to select anyway. So selection is done with 2 wires. Whatever this wire is on, the output will go there. This wire on. This is the block digital how to switch. Next one, please. Now, so very important thing in digital circuit is what is interesting than analog and digital is the oscillator. They're precise. I remember Dr. Indramani says always the webinars or any program must be time. It must start on time, end in time. I remember that he is very timely in a point. That is what interesting in digital circuits. So he makes one pulse, something will happen. Second pulse, something happens. Third pulse goes on continuously doing. So you can really predict how it is going to work because you know so many pulses per second it makes. First second you will do this. First second you take a coffee powder. Second you put it inside. Third second you take and stir it, like that it goes. So very clear you can define. So oscillators are important integral part. We have different oscillator circuits, and we use a crystal. For example, crystal is a resonant. Like I told you, it's very interesting. We studied this, how to generate electricity. A crystal is a resonant, which means when you vibrate them, they generate electricity in a funny way. So that is what the crystal we are using. Next slide, please. Now, this is isolation circuit and transformers. Isolation circuit is something is another important. The transformers are important thing we are talking a component, a transformer. A transformer, we saw a little bit. That is 2 coils. Center is a magnet. So one side is, let us say you got 220 volts. Another side you got less windings to get 12 volts. So how to convert from 220 volts to 10 volts? So you will have a transformer is the easier method to use it. Now you should know also from the, when somebody holds an appliance, whatever it is, how the isolation has to be there, otherwise the fellow will die. Here he will not die because the output what you see is a lower voltage. If it touches high voltage, no, here is no problem because isolated. Both are isolated. Next one, please. Now isolation can be done one by transformer. You can isolate signals. These are very important, the field signals. See, you want to use agricultural sensors in the field. You have lightning problems, you have AC line lying around everywhere. So if anywhere a glitch comes now, it will blow up the whole electronics control system for you. Yesterday, what you was talking, AP Ramachandran, it's very difficult in the field to work if you don't really isolate the signals out. So one of the isolation is the transformer. Not all the sensors can be attached. Second one is optocoupler. Optocoupler is whatever signal comes, whatever you want signal, the particular signal you pass through a light. And then from the light, you take it light barrier. So you transfer the whole information through light, not by wire. So only light will go. So there is no other magnetic interference will come. So normally problem is magnetism, electricity. Right? So this is through light goes. So that is called the optocoupler. Next one, please. Now you also have a high frequency RF isolator. They are also available. These are actually, when you will come back to let one see the bus, different buses. RF oscillators are cheaper and better and faster also, high bandwidth. So they also isolate signal. Input is isolated from outside. So you short something on the input side, nothing will happen to the output side. So your expensive equipment is saved. Only probably one sensor gets damaged. So that is the reason you have to know it's a building block of digital electronics. Next one. Now, next we see signal conditioning is another part of digital stuff. What is signal conditioning? We talked about analog and digital. Okay. Here I will explain a little bit. In microcontrollers, when you use whatever voltage is coming, let us say temperature 32 degrees. So temperature, we can measure many ways, like thermocouple is one of them. We'll learn that all afterwards. Don't worry if you don't understand right now. Two metals, if you join together, that's called thermocouple. They start conducting, depending on the temperature, they start conducting current. So you have temperature coming out as a current. Current means you put a resistor, it becomes a voltage. Okay. What we learned is only the basic blocks we'll use. So the current is flowing, I put a resistor, it becomes a voltage. I get a voltage. So when I get a voltage, how to connect it? I want a numbers format to transformer. That is called analog to digital. Now, analog digital is very important for especially agricultural applications. You have to be very careful because there are many factors out there. One is the bandwidth, that is how fast the frequencies analog signals can be converted. When you look for example, cameras or the RGB camera, they all have this, but very high speed you require. And then when you go for temperature or humidity, whatever you have sensors, they are very slow. So you don't take, for example, 10 samples in a second. You don't take thousands of samples. And sometimes you take tens of thousands of samples in types of camera and all those things come into picture. Now, there are how many types are there? It's very important. As agriculture, you must tell this is accurate. This is the type I want to have. Okay, this is very easy to understand. There are three types I will say. Three types I have written there. Dual slope, successive approximation, sigma delta. This is very easy to understand. Let's not go into detail, but I'll explain the difference of it. A dual slope is normally can be used for temperature, everything, because normally you can get up to 10 conversion in 1 second. 5 conversion you want in a second. 10 conversion you want in a second. Most of the agricultural purpose, dual slope is enough to use it. Sigma delta is very, very accurate. Okay, very, very accurate. And when you want to go to sigma delta, we don't see much application we require in agricultural application, but certain few, there it takes long time. You want to have one sample, let's say 2 samples per second, something like that, you can use that. But there's coming back to the third one is successive approximation. This is very fast. It actually approximates successfully, so it can go very fast. This is the one which are used in high speed when you want to convert from analog to digital. We come back to what is a sigma resolution. It's important now to come to all of them. What is the resolution? Suppose you have a temperature to measure. Okay, now I have a resolution of 8-bit. I call 8-bit, which means the maximum can be 256 steps. So if 100 degrees is my temperature will give the whatever the voltage, I have used 8-bit. So maximum, if I want to see 256 steps only, I can have 100 degrees measurement. This is not enough sometimes, but outside temperature may be enough. But you have to be careful. Like when I saw in an example in Ludhiana, I saw temperatures, they measure underground the soil and above the soil, when especially subsoil is very important factor. The soil moisture measurement device, unless it measures temperature correctly, it will give wrong reading of soil moisture. So you have to really measure accurate up to 0.1 degrees accuracy. Otherwise, you will not get soil moisture under the ground. You need that. So for example, one of the examples. So you need a resolution. 8-bit is less, very less. I think we need minimum 10-bit. 10-bit is 1000 steps, 1024, for example. 12-bit is 4096, 4000 steps. Don't worry now. We'll see all this binary and all we'll learn afterwards. So you have to choose whether you want to have 250 steps and you want 1000 steps, or you want to have 4000 steps. So this is a resolution. Sigma delta very high accurate. I mean resolution is very high. 16-bit, 24-bit you get sigma delta. We don't require normally. It's a bit expensive also. But successive approximation, most of the purpose is enough for us. We don't require high speed, but the accuracy you get 12-bit. Most of the controllers today available 12-bit. Just 4000 steps you're getting all of them. Very, very nominal cheapest price. No need for you to go for 8-bit. Fine. Let's go to the next one, please. Now, This is the example of sigma delta, how it works. I think don't worry about it. I think this is a symbolic for those people interested. Go and be. I mean, principle very easy. There's a switch there which does. I think if you read it, you'll understand. I will design after this training program a question and answer separately for people who are really keen. And I think you have to write. I think we'll make one more questionnaire that we'll ask the questions them. Then we plan for them. People who are really keen to understand that we have to have separate. You see, this particular program, what we do, we have two objectives here. I told you two. Actually, I started to train only electronics to the agriculture engineers. But in between, I thought the agriculture engineers, some of them ask, why the hell I have to learn electronics? And some of the decision maker scientists say, why it's not my job? Why I have to do? Okay, because we have to be careful because they never studied about it. So they cannot say, I don't know. When you are sitting as a professor post or something like that, you cannot, scientist, I cannot say, I know. So many times the problem, like today's speaker, he was an electronic guy, so he could do that. So what first aim is that for me. But second aim is to get the awareness for the people, what electronics is, why electronics is required. That is the reason these lectures are introduced to you. Because some people experts, yes, you have seen, you're in director position, you're assistant professor position, you have seen somewhere seminars, you attended all the seminars, agreed. But there are many people listening to this who have not seen this, which are B, agriculture engineers, they have not seen it. They see somewhere on YouTube, they don't understand. That's the reason. We come back to the next slide, please. Now, this is a dual slope. Next slide, please. Now, this is digital to analog. We saw analog to digital. Same way from digital to analog. Why we need? For example, you want to change the speed of a motor. Speed of a motor. So they call 0 to 10 volts input. So that will vary the speed of it. So there are different motors are used in processing industry, which needs the speed to be varied. So they will have input of 0 to 10 volts. Mukund, you know about it, something about DA where it is used. Can you explain about some motors or some applications, please?
Yeah, well, most of the motor controllers today, even if you take it, consider the three-phase motors, whatever we use in the farm and other places, they all are connected via a VFD, what we call a variable frequency drive. Now, in a variable frequency drive,
sorry, variable frequency
drive.
Which means you can change the frequency to make the speed change. Okay, the motor output, the input frequency of the voltage. We learned 220 volts and 50 hertz is in India we are using. But this fellow is talking about giving 200 hertz, 1000 hertz, 5000 hertz, like that he will talk. Please continue.
Yeah. So what happens is in a three-phase motor, if you want to vary the speed of a three-phase motor, the only way you can do it is by changing the frequency. So that is why engineers develop the variable frequency drive, where you vary the frequency output, that is power frequency output to the motor. Now, in order to control the speed of that, what you have an option of giving it a DC voltage as the input. So 0 to 10 volt as the input. So as Dr. Saab just mentioned, Dr. Sayed, that we have a to D converter. The system inside, that's a microcontroller within the system where it converts the 0 to 10 volt into analog voltage, by which it is converted back to D to A, that is digital to analog. And the analog voltage varies the frequency right from 0 hertz to 50 hertz. Okay, so this is where the D to A output voltage is being used. Yeah, carry on, sir.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Now we come to another part of signal conditioning. See, sometimes we get a voltage, we have to convert to frequency. And sometimes we have frequency, we have to convert to voltage. I give an example. In my own test, I will tell you. You want to measure some speed of a motor or something or somewhere a position. You have a voltage. See, voltage measurement is olden days was not accurate. For example, 8-bit resolution, which means I have voltage from 0 to 10 volts, I'll get only 256 steps. That's not accurate. But I change it to frequency, this voltage, because voltage and frequency, I can play with a capacitor and a resistor. Okay, so I can change the frequency. When I change the frequency, how fast the AC signal moves. Now I have the freedom. Frequency I can go very high level from 10 hertz to, let's say, 10,000 hertz. So I can measure this very fast in microcontroller. Microcontroller is very fast. They can count even 10 hertz. They can count even 10,000 hertz. So you will get so many steps. That is the reason Bluetooth are used. These are all still used in many of the sensors, voltage to frequency. Whatever sensor you have, sometimes don't get worried about what is the voltage. Okay, voltage to frequency conversion required, we can use it. That's all your idea. Next one, please. Same, we will have frequency to voltage. For example, speed of the tractor, I measured slip control when I made. Two of the wheels we had to measure. So I put an optical sensor which gives the pulses of the speed. Those days when I developed, I think I'm talking about 1978 in AIT. Okay, so it's actually up to, it gives the pulses to me. And then that time no microcontroller was there in 78 when I started first. Then I tried to use analog. So slip is actually two speeds. I have to subtract and divide it from the actual theoretical speed. The actual speed I have to divide it. So how to get analog divider multiplier? Problem is I have frequency signal coming out from the tractor as rotation. How many RPM? How many pulses? Each rotation, for example, I don't know exactly now. I forgot. Maybe 64 or 128 pulses I was getting for each revolution of the tractor wheel, and it's converted to voltage. And I use operational amplifier to multiply and divide. So you require sometimes the frequency to voltage also in agriculture application. That's all. These are all the blocks. This is not complicated electronics. I told you. Till now, what I taught you, is it complicated? Is it not possible? Agriculture engineer can understand. 100% you can understand. Now, detail, if you ask me why this resistor is put like this, why capacitor, yes, we will teach you also second level. But this first level, you know, it is easier for you, so you can go and read about it, because a lot of good material available in the net and books are available. We are lazy to read. We'll come back to the next important topic now. These two parts are the hurdle for anybody to think. It's like mathematics. When in schools, you don't like to study mathematics. You don't like calculus. So you don't like differential equations. Okay. This is something like this. It's analog electronics and this digital. These two are over. Then people are so happy. They will play with microcontrollers, which you'll see next one. Okay, but without this, you cannot go to microcontrollers. And that is one of the reasons. We will have a short introduction to microcontrollers today because time is short. We'll have a short introduction. So we'll know. We'll continue with that. Please, next presentation, please. Next presentation is there. We'll have, in the meantime, we'll have 5 minutes this presentation. Then we'll have a question for our next 5 minutes. So we'll close in correct time. And we'll discuss about how do we conduct. So microcontroller, I will go through fast probably to show you what we talk next tomorrow. So you'll have an idea. We are going to talk about microcontroller, what are the different components and what you have to worry about it. It's very simple. What is the flash memory? How much memory I should have for this application? I'll compare with applications and tell you. And what are the different features when I select a microcontroller to do? Because people come to me and say, Arduino I use this. I use this software. So people are I'm sorry for the audio disconnect. Now, so we will try to find out all the different components which are in microcontroller, how it is going to help us. Next slide, please. We will also talk about the microcontroller and the components which are used communication. These are not external communication much, only inside. That is what is I2C, I2. Because why is required? I want real-time clock. I want to use it. Which type of chips you use? Then you have SPI, UART protocol. This is a different protocol. We'll talk a little bit about. Next one. I'll just show you what you're doing. Please, next slide. Now, we'll talk about system on chip. Nowadays available, very popular. You've got a very small chips. Next slide, please. Which has everything, what you talk, including Wi-Fi modules. For example, this I think people have reservation. Yesterday, one of the speakers was telling Wi-Fi didn't work when the height comes. This is the basic knowledge of electronics is a problem because the Wi-Fi is 2.4 gigahertz. The plant, whatever the human body will have problem. Because your router in the house, it doesn't work on the third room. You know it automatically if you have using a router in your house. So there are certain precautions we take it. For example, this one is used in Louisiana up to 200 meters. Okay, the same in a farm. So it can be done. Next one. Now we'll come to next, third one, which we'll talk also as a single board computers. They are very cheap. They're starting from 700, 800 rupees. The down one, which is RPA 0, is 800 rupees available in India. Okay, and the top one is more. You can attach a screen also. Everything. There's a Raspberry Pi, which is very popular with all the hobbyists and plus even professionals. And they are very good actually. You can use them in high-ended, but they cost around 3.5K rupees. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a different part. We'll explain tomorrow. Next one, please. Okay, we'll come back afterwards this tomorrow about different microcontrollers, accessories, what are connected. We'll talk. Okay, close the sharing, please. Yeah. Now I'll explain in short. What we have seen is only we saw today as digital electronic components. It's very easy. Latches. We started about flip-flop. Then latches we came. Then we came counters. We have multiplexes. We have demultiplexes. Then we come to understand about signal conditioning. That is from analog to digital conversion we have, and then digital to analog conversion we have. Then we have voltage to frequency conversion, frequency to voltage conversion. That's all. This is the block over now. Tomorrow we will talk about microcontrollers. We'll talk about how to select which microcontroller. Then what is pending topics? I tell you there are a lot of pending. The simple question is what are the things can be connected to the microcontroller. Then we will talk about what are the sensors available, what are the features. This will take some time. Then after sensors, we will talk about what are the protocols used by sensors. Okay, like what type of wires are connected. A moisture sensor, soil moisture sensor. What type of SDA interface? What do you mean by that? So all those things we'll understand in these protocols. Then we come to the comparison protocol. So this is the total what I think an agriculture engineer must know to go ahead. So now I think I leave to Indramani and some questions, suggestions. We have another 5 minutes because it's very important the panel to decide what knowledge levels we have. People can ask questions now from the attendees, from anywhere questions regarding the training only. These questions, please. Anybody has question can raise hand or you can talk. Please, panelists, all you can open the mic, please. Any suggestions? Welcome. Dr. Indramani, any suggestions you get?
I think not on training. I think people are expecting, that we should concentrate on training. So from tomorrow onwards, more importance to training and interaction also. And I think, friends, you just send your suggestions. Are you understanding our Sayas should go a little slow and I suggested him that go a little slow and put a little more time on the slide so that people can understand. But as we are telling that, as he explained that just have glimpses what he will be explaining so that you can have a little bit more understanding and come prepared for this training. So that is another purpose. No?
Yeah, Doctor.
Processing.
Sayyad, ICR has a course prescribed for agriculture engineers in instrumentation, electronics course. I think the team should look at carefully, and there are practical sessions defined in it. So we should review it, and if we can help them to improve it and what kind of setup is needed and what kind of exercises they should do. Okay?
Yeah, I think I have seen some colleges where they course. I have seen some, I don't name the colleges. I've seen the lab also. They're basically electrical. They're basically electrical only is there. I don't think they have, like AIT, we had instrumentation course in master's level. And I learned everything from AIT from Thomas this time. I still hold the knowledge to it. But I don't know. But ICR, I would like to know if I can help. Yes.
Yeah, Indramani has access to all those CR Mehta. I think they all have access to these, what are the curriculum and exercises. So if we can help the curriculum and the delivery of these courses.
After all the webinar training series, we will go back to the course and after discussion, we will try to upgrade those and bring these things into that course.
Okay.
Dr. Ganti Murthy has a question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ismail and Dr. Iyer, for these sessions. So, a few observations I had when I started trying to incorporate these kind of electronics during my PhD and my masters, and later on, even as a young assistant professor who had basically no knowledge about this. The way I went about it was reading a lot of materials and things like that. But in recent years, I have been learning a lot of these things on the fly, basically by looking at a lot of the YouTube videos. There are some excellent YouTube videos. Basically, I wanted to just give a suggestion that perhaps we can compile a few of those videos that are already existing and give it as a homework for the viewers, basically our participants, to view that during the day and then come prepared for this, so that they actually can see how to really solder. For example, these are practical skills that you can actually watch. And then how do you connect? For example, there was a lot of these opto-isolators, and I think in future you'll be talking about Arduinos and all the sensors. How do we connect sensors? There are some excellent videos that, for example, soil moisture sensor or temperature humidity sensor, these kind of things to automate greenhouses. There are a lot of home projects that people have done. And those are all really excellent things that we can give some onus on to the participants as well, because you are doing a tremendous job in trying to introduce something that is taught in like 3-4 years to people in like an hour session every day. And I think basically sending those videos will be. Thank you.
Dr. Murthy, I really appreciate. The question is, I see still now the participants 52. When I started first, I thought only, I remember I told Dr. Indramani, I'm looking for 20, 30 only students to teach. That's what my first, but when I see the audience here, actually people say only training you do it. And then it's like classroom is that we can do that. But I'm looking at a much different level. I want in our scientist mind to go, yes, it is easy, this electronics. I will learn also. I will not only say some small fellow to learn, because really pitiable case, I see in some colleges I've seen, there are not a single person understand electronics. Like Dr. Murthy, there are few people who take interest and do it in every college, 1 or 2. Okay, but then that's not enough. Agriculture engineers only sanction. For example, drones. People are asking what I should do for drones. You should know what about, first of all, what is robotics. So you must know electronics. What is a BLDC motor? How to move? How to sense it? Like what are the color sensors? How do you differentiate? This all knowledge will bring in only because agriculture is a very fast field. I not blame them. We learn what all subjects we learn. Okay, we learn almost in the universe down the line, excepting medicine, human medicine. We learn everything. So I know it is tough. So this whole exercise to create awareness, and we will arrange again, if those who really want to learn step by step their problem, they can contact us directly. We'll make a method with Indramani discussing. We'll have some forum, and we can have a session in the daytimes or some other times also for those people who are keen. That's what my opinion. Dr. Indramani, please.
Thank you. No, it's all right. Thank you very much. I think things are going well, and now I will conclude. If you permit.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, friends. As promised, please remember that what we are trying to bring in, international experts, so that you should know to what extent these technologies are being used, how they are being applied. One, and second, some national, our own friends who are doing here in India. Then this training program. So please, this is a kind of mix which can keep you in a good mood. Otherwise, if 2 hours we talk electronics, then probably it will not be a very good webinar. So I think this is okay, and every day we are getting some messages. Today's take home, if I see. And that was in Manoj's lecture. He said, system solution, not engineering solution. Please remember, when I was in IIT Bangkok, Professor Singh was my teacher, and there was one class in which all engineering students used to sit in the last bench. That was agriculture course, and he said, come in the front, study agriculture. And that's how today Manoj said that if you want to develop system solution, you need agriculture engineer, you need computer engineer, you need horticulturist. So if you remain away from them, you cannot lead to solution. This is one very good take-home message. please, and that's what we have been, and Professor Singh have been conveying in all meetings, in all lectures, that if you want, we have to develop solutions, so we have to, don't forget, you are agricultural engineer. Without agriculture, you are not engineer. You cannot be, problem solver. So this is very good, Manoj, from your lecture. And friends, tomorrow we'll have two very important lectures. One is on transfer function and mathematical models for electromechanical systems by Professor Soni from IIT Kharagpur, and he is also AIT friend.
Sure.
And another will be from space-based sensors for mapping and monitoring, with a special emphasis on agriculture, and SS Ray, who is national head, who is looking for this, he will be talking on this. So I have emphasized him that please talk about different sensors, starting from soil and going to space, how these things are being used. So he will be talking on this, and then we will have a wonderful session, a training session, and day by day we are learning and we are trying to improve it. Thank you very much, Professor Singh, and all my friends, and Sayed and everybody. Thank you very much. We close here. Thank you.
Jetu, close please.
Thank you again, everybody, for the opportunity. See you later.